Welcome to East Brunswick Boys Soccer on Channel 8. I'm Pete Haskel along with Brian Merrigan, the girls coach here at East Brunswick, as the Bears are about to take on Scotch Plains, two very good teams. East Brunswick comes in at 8-1-1, while Scotch Plains is 9-0-1. And Brian, Bears have been playing some good soccer this season.
Well, Pete, 10 games, 9 shutouts. It doesn't get much better than that. Dan Haston is very happy with the way the team is playing right now, playing not only with a lot of defensive posture, but playing with a lot of enthusiasm as well.
Thus far, for Scotch Plains, the only tie to St. Benedict's, a win against Westfield, which was a tie for East Brunswick, and Scotch Plains considered #1 according to the Star Ledger.
Without a weakness, Pete. That's the thing here. This team is from top to bottom. They go like 18 deep. They are very strong. Coach Haston has told me that this is a team that's a little small in size, but as you'll see, great speed, great ball handling ability. This should be a really exciting matchup tonight.
East Brunswick at 8-1-1, Scotch Plains at 9-0-1. We'll have all the action coming right up. We are just about set for action. The East Brunswick boys against Scotch Plains. And again, the Raiders undefeated and ranked #1 in the state. Certainly they do not schedule away from anybody. Westfield, St. Benedict's, Pingree, some of the top teams in the state they schedule, and just that one blemish, that tie against St. Benedict's, victories over Westfield and Pingree.
Yeah, and it's hard to call a tie with St. Benedict's a blemish at any time. I understand that was quite a game.
St. Benedict's will always be up in the state rankings.
No, I think if you look in the USA Today poll, you'll find St. Benedict's and Scotch Plains both in there. Scotch Plains, last I looked, was ranked #4 in the United States.
Scotch Plains, a team that likes to keep the ball on the ground, go with a short passing game, and get some good shots. For East Brunswick, Jamie Foreman starts in net. John Dickinson is the sweeper. The backs are Justin Smutko, Eric Albrecht, and Mike Toth. The midfielders, Jared Forma, Joe Condurso, David Eunice, and EJ Zafarowski. And up front, Mattia Buffalino and Dom Condurso. As Scotch Plains getting ready to get things going, East Brunswick will be moving from right to left in this first half, as the officials checking with both goalkeepers to make sure they are ready. And Winokur knocks it back to Vitale, and we are underway. East Brunswick takes over. Zafarowski on the left side. Condurso with the ball. Buffalino. Back for East Brunswick to Joe Condurso, and East Brunswick taking the attack very quickly. Ruano battling for Scotch Plains. Condurso knocks it ahead, but Joy is there. Good speed shown by Scotch Plains.
Boy, I'll say right away, their striker took a long ball and went right by our defender, the East Brunswick defender. Fired a little high.
Corey Berlinski turning on the Jets. And East Brunswick with a goal kick.
And that's what we've been told to look for. They are not a particularly large team, as you can see. But they can really run.
Zafarowski. And East Brunswick will try to put the pressure on, keep the ball out of its its defensive third of the field. This is Ruano. Good cross.
Chance here.
And East Brunswick's defense keeping the ball out of the center before it gets to goalkeeper Jamie Foreman.
So Scotch Plains like to spread that field. go side to side with the ball. That's very effective if you got the speed.
And from what we have seen in the early going, the Raiders do have speed. Dickinson with a goal kick, and immediately Scotch Plains challenges. This is Berlinski again showing that great speed. Albrecht is back there. It's booted ahead by East Brunswick. Quarishi will take the throw for Scotch Plains. In for Winokur. Knocked out, and East Brunswick with the throw. That's Condurso knocking it ahead. Buffalino giving chase, and Scotch Plains won't be able to save it in, but will get the throw. That's Ruano. And the field getting a little bit slick as we get into evening. Some dew forming and making things a little bit slicker.
That may work to East Brunswick's advantage at this point.
Smutko with the throw-in. Can't get it to Condurso. Controlled by Scotch Plains. Forma for East Brunswick. Zafirovsky looking for Condurso, but instead it's Quarishi. This is Condurso. Buffalino. Back for Eunice. Pops it ahead, but Joy is there to knock it back, and Ruano gives chase. East Brunswick taking over. That's Eunice for East Brunswick. Knocks it ahead. And Bracky Reyes is there to make his first touch of the game. As East Brunswick unable to set anything up offensively, although doing a good job in the midfield. This is Berlinski. Slip on the play by Forma. Still battling, and Forma goes with a point, and the official agrees with him, saying that Berlinski pushed off. This will be Albrecht with a kick for East Brunswick. Nice shot into the box, and the defense clears. Joe Condurso. Actually, this will be Dom Condurso with the throw. Goalie comes out. Reyes is out of the cage. Condurso fires. And Reyes just in the right position to come up with a save.
Well, Reyes is going to make things exciting for us if he continues to pull out quickly like that. It's very interesting.
Alchis on the far side. East Brunswick's defense is back. And the long ball ahead. Albrecht back. Zafirovsky kicks it forward. This is Berlinski. Hit for Winokur. Winokur in control. Good head by East Brunswick. Dickinson getting back and making the play, and Dickinson eludes some traffic. Dickinson still in control. Now gives it right back the other way. This is Berlinski. Berlinski ahead. Winokur. As the defense came over, and Scotch Plains will come up with its first corner kick of the game.
That was dangerous. John Dickinson made a nice play, try to get the offense going, try to initiate. When you do that, you take the chance of leaving your backfield vulnerable. Scotch Plains took advantage of that.
Berlinski with a kick. Past everybody, but Ruano's over there and taken away by East Brunswick. East Brunswick with the throw-in. Condurso had some trouble, but it goes out off Scotch Plains, so Condurso with the throw-in to his brother. Forma is eluded. Here comes Berlinski again, showing that great speed by Albrecht. Pops it into the box. Dickinson is back there. And Dickinson will go over. A nice tackle made defensively by Mike Toth. Toth will do the throw-in for East Brunswick. As Horev stays back to make sure the ball can't come to Foreman, the goalkeeper. Throw-in comes to Vitale. Vitale dribbling, fires the shot wide, and Foreman lets it go, and East Brunswick with a goal kick. Neither team really taking charge in the early going of this game.
Yeah, good teams feel each other out in the early going. That's about what's going on here. Sort of like a prize fight.
Each team has operated briefly in the other team's defensive third. Ball goes out of bounds off Vitale, and Condurso with a throw for Zafarowski, but he can't control, and here come the Raiders. Winokur. Albrecht gets over, takes the ball away, and knocks it ahead for Buffalino. He can't hang on, and Keith Joy goes back for Scotch Plains. Bracky Reyes ahead for Joy. Considered one of the tops in the state, Keith Joy.
Yeah, Joy gets most of the press here from the Scotch Plains end.
Knocked out of bounds as Vitale couldn't hit on the pass, and East Brunswick will throw in. 32-15 remaining in the first half. We are scoreless, East Brunswick. Condurso tries to get something going, but can't catch up as Finley gets back and knocks it out.
Appears, though, that he did manage to retain possession for East Brunswick. As long as you're challenging the ball like that, good things can happen.
Ball coming inside. East Brunswick looking for a chance, but can't do it as Condurso couldn't get off the clean shot.
Scotch Plains seems to be employing that diamond-style defense for defenders. A real true sweeper hanging back in front of the goalie.
Condurso with a head for East Brunswick, but Joy is over there for Scotch Plains. Comes ahead for Ruano. Here comes Berlinski streaking down the side and can't control possession. Boy, he looks like a sprinter out there.
Oh, I'll tell you, they really bring those halfbacks up on the double.
This is Berlinski again. Off for Winokur. Winokur being challenged. Winokur knocked off the ball. East Brunswick comes up with it. Condurso, and Albrecht can't get it ahead. Dickinson with a head for Albrecht. Pops it ahead for Buffalino. Buffalino challenged by Joy. Joy trying to take him off the ball, keeps it in, and knocks it back to Finley. So Keith Joy showing some strength there, and Buffalino can't hang on, and here comes Winokur the other way. Winokur eludes some traffic, knocks it back to Joy. Vitale's 15. Alchis to Joy. Along the sideline, and Albrecht comes out, takes it away. This is de Guzman in for East Brunswick. Rich de Guzman, a senior. You notice the hand is wrapped up. That hand was broken earlier in the season, and he is 100% now. As Foreman knocks it ahead, and de Guzman with a nice play.
And that's the type of play you look for from him, and they've missed that. Although the record might not show it, the Bears certainly missed that from de Guzman.
East Brunswick at 8-1-1. Alchis for Scotch Plains. Gets the ball ahead, but it's not right back the other way as Eunice comes up with it. Buffalino and Joy over there with a throw-in for Scotch Plains. Albrecht pops it the other way, and de Guzman will give chase. Defense knocks it back to Reyes, the goalkeeper, and he'll roll it out to Eric Marcavecchio. Keith Joy on the far side.
And it looks like he's a target to start that offense.
Ruano. Off to Winokur. Dickinson marking him. Shot saved by Foreman.
Jamie taking no chances with that turf. Right now the ball can skip pretty haphazardly. A lot of room in the middle there for Scotch Plains.
Winokur. Ahead for Harrow.
Dangerous.
Dickinson, shot in front, deflected and goes high. Scotch Plains with a pretty good opportunity that time.
Oh, a very good opportunity. Just a last second dive by the defender. Rescued us there.
Second corner kick coming up for Scotch Plains.
Always a dangerous affair, corner kicks.
Berlinski will take it. Angling in. Header going the wrong way, right back, and goes out in a goal kick. And one of the East Brunswick players is down and getting up slowly, holding his head. Joe Condurso, a sophomore.
Joe, very much a spark plug of this East Brunswick squad. One of the few, maybe the only freshman in Dan Hastings' tenure to play varsity.
Albrecht with a long goal kick. Condurso can't hang on. And it's knocked ahead by Marcavecchio. Berlinski. East Brunswick takes it back. It's Eunice. Goes ahead for Condurso, loses control, and it comes the other way. Ruano looking for it, can't do anything, and the whistle blows. Scotch Plains coming forward. Winokur in good shape with a cross. Albrecht for East Brunswick knocks it out. Dangerous play there.
Well, we've seen that Scotch Plains really likes to go side to side with that ball. Dangerous crosses. We can look to see those balls in the air all night.
Albrecht will take the kick for East Brunswick. Condurso's down there. Can't get it. Joy knocks it the other way. Vitale for Scotch Plains. As Forma gives chase. Gets the ball off to Alchis. Comes back for Finley. Into the offensive end.
Oh, nice.
Horov is there. Foot race down there. Cross in front. Ruano gets the shot and sends it into the net, but the official had blown the whistle prior to that shot being taken. Another good scoring opportunity for Scotch Plains.
Yeah, fortunately for the Bears, the Scotch Plains squad was detected for pushing off there. You can see, Pete, they like going down that sideline. They like going side to side with the ball.
De Guzman can't control it. Berlinski and Marcavecchio knocks it ahead. Berlinski again can't handle. De Guzman for East Brunswick. De Guzman nearly loses it, and the official says he does. Alchis for Scotch Plains. Albrecht for East Brunswick knocks it out. Scotch Plains will get the throw in.
And they continue to pound the left side.
Vitale, but East Brunswick gets there. And Joy pops it toward the center. Dickinson is there. Foot race is on. Scotch Plains wins it. De Guzman with a nice play to keep it in and move it forward. Eunice can't get there in time. Berlinski's there, chips it in, and Dickinson clears out with a long ball. Marcavecchio giving chase. Marcavecchio will come up the near sideline. Ahead for Alchis, who pops it ahead for Berlinski. And East Brunswick's defense is there, and again we see the slippery turf. Dickinson takes it away and comes on the move. Dickinson in control, and again we see the slippery field. Eunice, nice move, puts it forward. Condurso giving chase, and Reyes will play the ball in the box. 24-20 remaining in this first half. East Brunswick and Scotch Plains are scoreless. The Raiders #1 in the state. East Brunswick will try to get things going now, as Condurso wants to give chase, and Vitale won't let him. Brian Ho comes in now for East Brunswick, along with Brandon Hockman. Hockman giving chase. Defense is back. De Guzman fired it. There's a lot of control on that shot.
That ball wound up somewhere by the concession stand.
He almost kicked it to South River.
Well, Hockman and Ho up front now give you a new look. Ho, great, real speedster, from my understanding. Hockman, of course, an outstanding goalie. It's very nice when you have two outstanding goalies, one of whom can contribute on the field.
I guess you know what that's like to have two outstanding goalkeepers coaching the girls' team.
Oh, yeah, we're very happy with the situation we have right now with senior Laura Buttenbaum and sophomore Betsy Ostrov.
East Brunswick trying to get that 50-50 ball. Alchis for Scotch Plains. Winokur back to Alchis. Alchis on the fly, Berlinski. East Brunswick defense in good shape and played nicely out by Justin Smutko. East Brunswick looked ready for that rush.
Yeah, but I don't think Dan Haston wants to see those corner kicks, Pete.
Don't think they wanted the corner kick. Looked like Smutko was trying to get it out over the sideline. Instead, it went over the end line. The high ball in the box goes through the crowd. Horov is there, turns and fires. Foreman makes the stop, although it was off the mark.
Now, this is the Scotch Plains brings the whole package. They had a different look on like three of their corner kicks now. They're giving a different look each time.
Horov, Vitale, and tackled out by Albrecht. Good play by Albrecht. And he will take the throw. Dave Barrett now checks in for East Brunswick as he replaces E.J. Zafarowski. Barrett is a junior. Condurso to Eunice. Eunice with a nice move. Hockman tries to make the play but can't do it. As Ho comes charging in as Bracky Reyes, the goalkeeper, plays it for Scotch Plains. This is Keith Joy, being watched closely by Barrett. Horov fires it ahead. It's a foot race. Here comes Berlinski, but a nice play by the defense. De Guzman got back. Has to clear that ball. Alchis playing it. Alchis. And it gets knocked out of bounds.
Ooh, they had East Brunswick scrambling on that one. But the defense came up big.
Dickinson tried to get away with that one. Berlinski with a throw into the box, in trouble. Defense clears out temporarily and booted out. Alchis is back there now, East Brunswick. Hockman. Barrett pops it ahead, but to no one as Marcavecchio takes over for Scotch Plains. Alchis again, and Barrett challenges. Barrett working hard, just entering the ball game. And East Brunswick will get the throw.
Illegal throw.
Illegal throw, so Berlinski puts it back in play. Ruaning. Berlinski, nice move. De Guzman knocks it away, and East Brunswick fires it ahead the other way. Hockman can't hang on. Alchis goes along the wing for Quarishi. And that ball goes out. East Brunswick will get the throw in. Less than 20 minutes remaining now as we are more than halfway through this first half. East Brunswick playing Scotch Plains scoreless. Barrett working for East Brunswick, and they say that Winokur pushed off, so East Brunswick will move forward.
And Barrett is really working out there. That's what Danny Haston was looking for.
Cut down in the midfield by Winokur, ahead to Berlinski, who just fires it ahead, and Foreman will take charge and make the stop. Foreman will punt it out across midfield as Vitale tries to play it. That's Horov who had it. This is Alchis. Alchis trying to outrun Eunice. Barrett over there challenging. And Alchis knocks it ahead. The defense is there, and Eunice for East Brunswick. Eunice has some room to maneuver. Gets it ahead for Ho. Ho with the left foot. De Guzman racing. And a nice sliding play by Scotch Plains as the ball is saved in along the sideline by Berlinski. Berlinski is all over the field. Good play by Barrett, hustling over there, but gets called for a push. He is working hard.
And that's the kind of call that Hastings will take, as long as it's out there.
Berlinski boots that one a bit out of control, so East Brunswick will get the throw. And de Guzman comes out of the game. As Greg Slater checks in for East Brunswick. This is Slater. Knocks it ahead, looks for Ho. It's a foot race. But Joy knocks it back and Reyes keeps it in. As Ho turned on the Jets himself. Joy tips it right back to Reyes and Ho puts some pressure on. And Reyes will boot it. Barrett's there to knock it forward. Eunice for East Brunswick chips it ahead. And again, Reyes out of the cage. Try to start things up. Albrecht for East Brunswick. Kick goes out, and now 4 substitutions for Scotch Plains. We'll pick them up as we go. 16:40 remaining in this first half. We're scoreless. Pete Haskel along with Brian Merrigan. Brian, the girls coach here at East Brunswick. He and Lou Coso work with the girls. Brian taking over as Lou is recovering from an illness, and of course we wish him the best in his recovery. Certainly East Brunswick has not missed a beat though, with Brian Merrigan at the helm. Eric Bowser. As Frame gives chase. And again, you have that lip on the field as it is a little bit wider than a football field, and all of a sudden you start going downhill. Albrecht tries to clear out, but kicks it out. Has to be a little frustrating sometimes when you're watching a ball along the side and just falls out. Scotch Plains looking for a running start on this throw.
And you notice that Joy is snuck up there. He's on the attack side. Here he comes back to play some defense. And,
Ho looking to take the play but couldn't do it. And East Brunswick trying to force things forward, and the official says stop that ball. Albrecht pops it forward. Ho giving chase. And Reyes comes out. Ho getting back there nicely. Albrecht for East Brunswick. Albrecht ahead. And East Brunswick gets the call and will get the kick.
Hockman and Ho are really making things happen.
Albrecht into the box. Reyes comes out and makes the play. And he gets run into. Was he pushed or was he not? As one of the East Brunswick players slow getting up and having a word with the official. Condurso down there.
Referee's very sensitive to having goalies touched, and rightfully so. Rightfully so.
So Condurso shakes hands with Reyes. That's Barrett. Looking for Ho. Can't control off the head and comes back the other way. Eunice tries to make the play. Toth is over there. Ho again fighting. Dickinson back for East Brunswick with a head. Good head by Scotch Plains. Dickinson now. Eunice. Good speed. Playing the body and the ball that time. Dickinson comes back and chips it back to Foreman. Both teams now getting a couple of opportunities. Zalchis controls in midfield. knocked back the other way. Here comes Hockman and Ho charging back, and the ball's tipped back to Reyes, who rolls it out to Joy. Quarishi ahead. And East Brunswick has it. Hockman with a header, tries to get off for Ho, but Scotch Plains knocks it back to the goalkeeper one more time.
Well, Joy has wonderful anticipation out there. He seems to know exactly what he wants to do, where the ball's going. And they give him the freedom to come forward whenever he sees fit. They always maintain 3 guys back. East Brunswick going with 2 forwards, so that's, they're outnumbered there.
This is Stevenson streaking down the right side. Dickinson tries to take the play, and he does very nicely.
Well timed by John.
Stevenson with a long throw. Good throw in, and the defense plays it, but another good scoring opportunity for Scotch Plains, and that throw-in's as good as a corner kick.
You got that right. This guy throws it like most people kick it, is correct.
Gar Stevenson, the senior, on 2 occasions with a strong throw.
And I think the Bears are now aware of that. This guy's going to be dangerous if he gets a few more of those.
Substitutions for East Brunswick, which we will pick up as we go. De Guzman back in, can't save it in on the header. And Scotch Plains will get the throw. Stevenson one more time. Going long for Bowser. Stevenson will get another chance to show off that throwing skill. Moves all the way back to the track. He's moving back about 10 yards, actually more than 10 yards now, as he wants to pick up some momentum. Right into the box. Foreman coming out, leaves the net.
Oh.
And there he comes back to make the play.
Terrific play by Foreman.
Boosted ahead for Condurso, can't control. As Quarishi comes the other way, East Brunswick takes back, and De Guzman tracks it down, saves it in. De Guzman along the sideline. Condurso in traffic. Stevenson takes it away. Quarishi knocked back. Condurso trying to keep it in play. Here's Berlinski. Berlinski defended by Slater. And a push, and they say it goes against Scotch Plains. So Greg Slater positioning his body nicely as Albrecht kicks it ahead. Condurso. Slater. De Guzman. De Guzman racing. And the defense gets back nicely as Mike Alchis knocked it back to Bracky Reyes. East Brunswick not giving Reyes much room. Challenging the play again. Buffalino. Joy handles it nicely. Quarishi can't hang on, and East Brunswick knocks it back the other way, but a whistle. Dangerous play. Ten minutes remaining in this first half. Scotch Plains and East Brunswick are scoreless. Berlinski racing, knocked away by Dickinson. Berlinski maintains into the box. Perfilio is tackled nicely as Smutko got back for East Brunswick, but another corner kick, and Gar Stevenson will give it another pop. And substitutions now for Scotch Plains. Well, Gar Stevenson's going to put that ball right in front of the net, whether he is kicking it or throwing it. This time he will switch and let Berlinski go with a corner kick. John Dickinson directing traffic in front, and Stevenson moves right in front of the net. Kick comes out, scramble, and East Brunswick clears out of danger. Scotch Plains putting the heat on as the Raiders pop it right back in the other way. Foreman a little slow coming out of the net, and he gets upended by Bowser. He hung on to the ball, though. Joy giving chase with Buffalino. And knocked out. Seemed like Foreman was a little slow coming out.
Yeah, he may be a bit hesitant on that, but he made up for it with a really nice play. He paid the price for his hesitancy.
Eunice with the throw-in. And Scotch Plains wins the foot race to the ball. Long play ahead. And Dickinson's there for East Brunswick. Ball rolled out, so Dickinson will throw it back to Foreman. Foreman taking his time as Bowser comes in to give a look. And Foreman will kick it. Considering this is the #1 team in the state, East Brunswick playing very, very well. Certainly, even if Scotch Plains was not the #1 team in the state, East Brunswick is still playing very, very well.
Yeah, I'm sure Dan's got to be somewhat pleased with the effort thus far.
Brian Ho checks back in for East Brunswick, replacing Mattia Buffalino. Throwing for East Brunswick and a whistle immediately.
Now we're going to see what Ho can do on this side of the field. Before he was lined up with Joy. Made things exciting for Joy for a while there.
Winokur goes across for Belinsky, right back to the center. But Eunice is there and Dickinson clears it. Ho can't handle the play off the kick from Condurso. And Berlinski will do the throwing. Berlinski with a long throw, headed by East Brunswick. Ho giving chase, can't track it down, and a whistle. And Scotch Plains will take it.
Yeah, Ho gets called for cutting under.
Condurso giving chase. Joy looks to fire, can't get off the good shot, goes into the corner. And Albrecht is there to clear it out. Finley for Scotch Plains, and just boots it forward. It's going to be a foot race again. And Foreman again gets run into by Bowser once again. Looked a little hesitant once again.
Well, he's got to be careful with that turf.
East Brunswick winning the play at midfield on that occasion. Ho giving chase. And knocked back the other way by Marcavecchio. Good play challenging by Perfilio, but East Brunswick will get the throw, and Dickinson will do the throwing. He's got to go forward as Scotch Plains won't let him go back to his own net. Here's Perfilio working against Dickinson. Perfilio, and tackled nicely by Justin Smutko. And they will let Gar Stevenson do the throwing. No surprise here. Again, this will be virtually as good as a corner kick. And you can see, actually you can't see, but the Scotch Plains players line up on the far side of the goal. That's how far they expect him to throw it. Coming right to the center, Foreman comes out, can't get it, loose ball in front, it's headed toward the net, and it goes wide. Dickinson was there defensively for East Brunswick, but that shot was popped just wide.
Well, they dodged the proverbial bullet there because Jamie Foreman made a move and put himself out of the net. Move he had to make. You know, that throw-in is better than a corner kick. It was much more predictable from the Scotch Plains viewpoint.
Ho for East Brunswick. Chips it ahead. Condurso knocks it forward with the head. And Reyes comes out to make the play.
Again, you see 3 Scotch Plains defenders there. Very tough to break them down.
Keith Joy knocks it ahead, but it's popped right back the other way by Toth out of bounds. Now let Stevenson take that throw again, and he just bangs it into Alchis. Taken away by East Brunswick. Here comes Ho. Alchis misses the tackle. Ho moving forward. Ho ahead. And Condurso couldn't get to it, knocked back the other way. East Brunswick with a throw-in. Toth. Joy there instead. And Toth one more time with a throw-in. Over the top of Condurso. And Finley is there to knock it ahead. Bowser gets knocked down, and Albrecht sends it back the other way. Joy plays it right back to Reyes. And Reyes will boot it out. Albrecht coming up. to make the play, but Joy is there and chips it forward to Stevenson. Back to Joy. East Brunswick trying to regain and does. And Condurso couldn't catch up, but it got knocked out, and East Brunswick with the throw-in. Toth again. Toth controlling, that's Ho who can't get control of it, and again Reyes comes up to make the play from Finley. 3:05 remaining in the first half. East Brunswick and Scotch Plains scoreless. Berlinski racing, but the defense is there as Smutko clears it, and now Albrecht being challenged, knocked off the ball, but East Brunswick pops it the other way. Ho down there, can't come up with it. Here's de Guzman for East Brunswick. Defense is there. Goes out though, off Marcavecchio, and the long throw-in. Slater with it. Almost fans in the ball. It's knocked ahead. Albrecht for East Brunswick. Albrecht pops it ahead. Joy slows it down. Eunice trying to capture control. Chips it with the left foot for Condurso. Knocks it ahead. It's a foot race. Ball is still free, and now Reyes comes out to make the play, and he slips and falls with contact with Slater. Condurso with a nice move almost bought himself a goal.
Very dangerous play there. Good opportunity for the Bears.
Less than 2 minutes remaining now. Condurso puts a little pressure on, and Reyes is forced to boot it out. Eunice for Slater. Slater ahead for Condurso. This is de Guzman coming on the wing. Center, but Joy is there to knock it back the other way. This is Slater. Slater in traffic. Slater with a left foot, and it's knocked away. Good defense that time, and a nice play. Nice aggressive play by Slater coming back and forcing Scotch Plains to work hard.
Boy, the Bears really putting the heat on now in the last few minutes of this half. And Dan Hasted would like nothing more than get one on the board before halftime.
Big corner kick coming up. Condurso comes forward, comes out high in the box, and goes out of bounds.
Okay, you can see he's pumped up. He put a little more on it than he wanted to.
One minute remaining in this first half as Scotch Plains makes a couple of more substitutions. Tom Brzezinski perhaps looking for one last shot.
I won't be surprised if I think they might be happy to go in there at 0-0.
Reyes boots it ahead. East Brunswick trying to control. Toth is over there, and it's knocked forward. Here's Slater. Knocked down in midfield, though, by Alches. Bangs it ahead. And East Brunswick, a little tentative, was Justin Smutko, and Scotch Plains will get the throw in 21 seconds. Long throw, Albrecht with a header. One last shot, can't get there, and the next one goes high and wide as 11 seconds. And that, for all intents and purposes, will wrap up this first half. But good action for East Brunswick as the Bears have certainly stuck with the Raiders, and Brian seemingly played them very even in the first half.
Oh, that was a very well-played first half from the Bears' standpoint. They've got to be happy coming off the field. It seems they were content to go long ball there, something that the girls' team lives and dies, well, usually lives by.
That's for sure.
So we kind of, I kind of like that myself, but the Bears seem to play, content to play that, and you saw in the last minute or so that you can get it done that way. The Bears very close to putting that first goal of the game in. And then in the last 10 seconds, I thought they got a little loose, played a little loose back there. Maybe they just wanted to give the fans a thrill.
Well, they certainly did. Scotch Plains again is number one in the state at 9-0-1. East Brunswick is 8-1-1, and we are tied at halftime 0-0. And we'll have all the second half action coming right up. We're all set for second half action. East Brunswick and Scotch Plains are scoreless as we get set for all the second half play. East Brunswick will move from left to right in this second half as Scott White joins us in half number 2. Bears will try to get that offensive attack going, and both teams really have played very well. East Brunswick will try to move things forward. As things start slowly, Quarishi along the sideline, battling with Condurso, who takes control. Condurso working against Quarishi, and Albrecht knocks it forward. They blow the whistle against East Brunswick, and Scotch Plains will get things going.
See a lot of intensity coming out after the halftime. East Brunswick with the kickoff. Scotch Plains came on real fast. A lot of intensity, a lot of emotion on the field.
Ball gets knocked out. The throw will go to Scotch Plains as Corey Berlinski will do the throwing. Big game for East Brunswick. Scotch Plains #1 in the state. East Brunswick's been having a pretty good year in its own right, 8-1-1. They only lost to St. Joe's, and that game is next on the schedule.
Yeah, very key games for both East Brunswick and Scotch Plains. If you look at it, Scotch Plains has met East Brunswick 2 times before. Their career record is 1-1. And East Brunswick's used to being in the position of the team being gunned for. A lot of teams come in to beat East Brunswick, and today the roles are reversed. East Brunswick, I think, is out to gun for the #1 team in the state.
And thus far, playing pretty well. Ari Horov fired that shot high and wide. So the Bears will have a goal kick for East Brunswick. Jamie Foreman is in net. John Dickinson is the sweeper. The backs are Justin Smutko, Eric Albrecht, and Mike Toth. The midfielders, Jared Forma, Joe Condurso, David Eunice, and E.J. Zafarowski. And the strikers, Mattia Buffalino and Dom Condurso. And Albrecht will take the goal kick. We are almost 2 minutes into this second half. East Brunswick and Scotch Plains are scoreless. Call it dangerous play as the players went into the air. And East Brunswick will move forward. Albrecht firing it ahead. Berlinski working against de Guzman of East Brunswick as de Guzman actually gets the start in the second half. He is coming off a broken hand, which he suffered in that first game against St. Joseph's. Eunice for East Brunswick, nice play. Eunice to the center, but Forma couldn't catch up. Albrecht knocks it forward. Eunice giving chase, but it will go out of bounds. And Marcavecchio with the throw-in to Berlinski. Albrecht is there for East Brunswick. Doesn't matter, though. Winokur for Scotch Plains. Forma now for East Brunswick. Pops it the other way, but Quarishi for Scotch Plains. Back the other way, racing quickly is Horov. Horov, as Dickinson takes the play and knocks it out. Ari Horov will make the throw, and actually now he'll give it off to Zahid Quarishi. Into Horov. Forma on him and knocked away. East Brunswick will get the throw, as Brandon Hockman is in the game as well. That's Hockman working against Quarishi. Comes back to Horov, and Hockman can't save it in. And Scotch Plains will get the throw. This is Quarishi who will get the throw. Played back deep by Toth, and Hockman takes the ball away nicely and gets pushed down by Quarishi. Albrecht chips it forward. And quickly closing is Marcavecchio, who knocks it out.
It's been a very even game in the midfield thus far. A lot of games are won and lost right in the midfield, and both teams are matched up very well in the midfield.
It is still very possible, though, the game will be won or lost in the midfield, as we are scoreless here. Albrecht couldn't make the play, and is battling for the ball. Horov comes up with it. Long chip ahead for Quarishi. This is Ruano, and the whistle blows, and it will go the other way for East Brunswick.
You see John Dickinson taking the ball right now. John Dickinson, a senior, seems to be a very leadership model in the backfield for East Brunswick. He seems to be calling a lot of signals out. He's calling a lot of plays out. He's keeping the morale up on the team. Okay, we see an injury on the field. I can't see who that is. An East Brunswick player down.
All right, so we will not make any guesses until we can determine who it is. One of the East Brunswick players holding his head. Of course, that could be an indication of anything, including a injury of any kind. So the clock stops, 35-38. Remaining in the second half. East Brunswick playing Scotch Plains very evenly, as you see head coach Dan Haston coming off the field. The trainer takes a look at what's happening. Looks like they're working on a knee or a leg. And it could be Jared Forma. Actually, it is not Jared Forma. We will guess no more.
That's the East Brunswick High School trainer, Phil Hosler, looking on at the leg.
Dan Haston has to be very pleased with the way his team is playing right now as Greg Slater gets off the bench and checks in for the Bears. But East Brunswick playing evenly. It is not that it is a scoreless game, which it is, but it's more than that. It is East Brunswick playing very evenly as Mike Toth gets up and shows to be hobbled on that right leg. Toth is a senior for the Bears. Walking gingerly. Toth has played soccer for 12 years and wants to win the whole thing this year, not surprisingly. Good student as well, as many of these Bears are, with a 3.5 grade point average. A lot of good students on this team.
Well, it's good to see he's walking off on his own merit, and hopefully he'll get back into the game. Dan Haston was saying before the game, one of the big pluses for the Bears at this point in the season is they don't have anyone injured. They're a healthy squad, and you know, a lot of injuries could kill teams, and so far East Brunswick has everyone available to play tonight.
That is always subject to change. Ruano trying to control. Foreman knocks him down, and Berlinski will do the throw-in for Scotch Plains. Actually, it's going to be a free kick coming forward toward the box. Foreman's there, makes the save. Foreman timed that jump very nicely to make the play.
Foreman's a very technical player. He calls a lot of shots in the backfield. If you saw before, he was out of the box a number of times. Very aggressive, very emotional. He's also another leader in the backfield along with John Dickinson. He helps keep the field of play, the perspective in front of him, and controls a lot of the situations that go on throughout the entire field.
Eunice knocking it forward for East Brunswick. Joy racing back and lets Reyes take the play. Bracky Reyes, the goalkeeper, who has been very active in his own right.
Very true. Bracky Reyes has been out of the toward the edge of the box, as you just saw him there. He doesn't wait for the balls to come in. He's very aggressive, as I said, just like Foreman, and he also takes control in the backfield, and that's a key to a successful team.
Berlinski chipped it ahead, and Horov went racing in, but Foreman just beat him to the ball. Ari Horov showing some great speed, and Corey Berlinski has shown great speed as well. Very, very fast team. Joy is back for Scotch Plains. Chips it across the field for Marcavecchio. Hockman there, marking him for East Brunswick. And a good play by Slater to keep the ball alive. East Brunswick can't control, though. And the ball is popped forward. Horov and Ruano tries to go back to Horov, but the defense is there, and Dickinson comes up with it for the Bears. Dickinson comes ahead for Forma. Forma eludes Joy nicely, puts it ahead, but the ball rolls out of bounds. As Buffalino was looking to go forward, it went off the defense. So Condurso throws it into Eunice. Eunice with a nice move. Eludes the defense, keeps moving forward, chips it ahead into the box, and Reyes will be there one more time. And a long boot from out of the net. Albrecht there for the head, Ruano as well. And they'll blow the whistle against Albrecht. And here comes Quarishi racing down the left side. Quarishi worked on by Condurso, and Condurso clears it. Nice play by Condurso. Joe Condurso with a nice play. Forma keeps it in. Here comes Joy racing and working against Hockman. And they say that it goes to Scotch Plains. Hockman perhaps a little over-aggressive in that tackle of Keith Joy. Joy with a kick into the box, chipped right back out, fired upon, and the defense is there. Good play by East Brunswick. And East Brunswick trying to assert itself a little bit more. Eunice for the Bears. Pops it ahead. Hockman giving chase. Joy is there. A little lazy with that pass, but Scotch Plains still in control. Dickinson. Nice move. Dickinson across the midfield stride. Goes ahead for Hockman. Hockman in a race with Reyes, who just gets the ball, and a collision. And Reyes picks the ball up again.
It's been a common sight tonight. The front runners and the strikers for both teams have been challenging the keeper every time down. The field's wet, the ball's wet. The keepers are coming out strong. If you challenge them enough, they're bound to knock it loose. And that could be the difference in this game. One keeper getting the ball knocked loose, a front runner knocking the ball in, that could be it. You've seen Foreman go down a couple of times. You've seen Scotch Plains, he's got the keeper for that team, Brocky Reyes, has gone down a number of times. And it's also a psychological aspect of it. You know, just like I guess in football, a receiver that gets hit a number of times thinks as he's catching a ball. The same thing happens with the goalkeeper.
Foot race, Quarishi racing, and Dickinson gets there for East Brunswick. Dickinson can't keep it in. And the throw-in will come for Horov. Going into the box, could be a shot, knocked away, and Dickinson clears. Foreman with a play. A close call for the Bears. And Albrecht goes back, and Foreman will let it go, but Albrecht got up very slowly on the play, and he is now doubled over in pain as he tries to shake loose his arm. May have taken a shot to that arm, Eric Albrecht. Well, Foreman came out to make that play moments ago, tipped the ball, but it ended up laying right in front of the net. One of the defenders came over and slipped and fell, and then Dickinson came over to make the clear. Yeah, Dickinson played a key role there. He has a substantial amount of speed and was able to get back and catch Scotch Plains in the corner. And then after the ball was crossed back, he didn't stay there. He went right back to his position, and it was he that cleared the ball out and made the difference in that play. He was showing a lot of athletic ability. Forma challenged by Quarishi, who made a good play, so Forma couldn't play it off his chest. Quarishi for Horev. The dangerous play, and the ball goes to East Brunswick. Condurso challenged by Quarishi. Eunice can't make the play. Horov going across. Berlinski for Ruano. And East Brunswick is there. Good play by Justin Smutko, but the throw will come to Scotch Plains. Less than 30 minutes remaining in the second half. We are scoreless. Good centering pass, and the head was there for East Brunswick. And a good play now by Ho as he came racing across. Well, when you saw Ho go down, you saw how slippery that field is, and that, as Brian Merrigan said earlier, could be a big foot race. And nice play by Foreman coming out again. Gets it ahead for de Guzman on the fly. De Guzman quickly. Bad pass, though, and Alchis comes up with it. Knocked back the other way by de Guzman, and Joy pops it forward. Ruano racing for Scotch Plains, fires it, and got deflected and wide, and the officials say that it will be a goal kick. That damp surface could be a big advantage for East Brunswick. As you have noted, Scotch Plains has been a very, very fast squad, and this moisture is probably slowing them down a little bit. So Albrecht will take the kick for East Brunswick again. A scoreless tie, East Brunswick and Scotch Plains. Played in midfield as Foreman knocks it ahead. Eunice challenging for East Brunswick. That's Alchis. And finally controlled by Winokur. Not for long, though, as the Bears take over. Berlinski now for Scotch Plains. This is Berlinski. Berlinski controlling, eludes one defender. Dickinson ahead of him. Dickinson takes it away. Dickinson coming the other way. Scotch Plains back defensively, ahead for Ho. Ho with a nice move. Bears now with 3. For de Guzman, here's Dickinson. He'll get a shot. Goes wide. Once again, you saw the athletic ability of Dickinson coming all the way up from the sweeper, making the big play, and then not stopping in the back. He ran all the way up, and he was the shooter on that. East Brunswick working hard offensively, and with a good charge by John Dickinson, as you mentioned, Scott. And the Scotch Plains players talking to each other now, almost as if they're a little bit disgusted about that last rush. East Brunswick has played very soundly as Marcovecchio knocks it back to Reyes.
Seems as if Mike Toth, who went out a little earlier in the game, is up and around and walking. Phil Haskel was just working on him, and maybe he'll get back into the game before it's over.
East Brunswick will get the throw. It'll be Eric Albrecht. Eric comes forward and throws the ball, head forward nicely by Condurso. And East Brunswick gives chase. Zafarowski gave chase as Reyes boots it long. And a dangerous play on Winokur, so East Brunswick with a kick right to the center of the field. And Zafarowski played it back, but there was nobody there. And Scotch Plains will get the throw in. It'll be Marcavecchio with the throw in after a substitution is made, as Mike Vitale comes out and Gar Stevenson comes in for the Raiders. Stevenson distinguished himself in that first half as East Brunswick challenges, and Scotch Plains will take over. It has been a very evenly played game. Marcavecchio for Alchis. Alchis knocks it ahead. Dickinson in the box, but it's cleared away by Smutko. And Scotch Plains with a throw, and this is Stevenson, who really can fire it in the air with that throw, and you can tell that he gets set for that windup right into the box. Foreman nicely coming out and making the save. When Stevenson gets set for that throw, the offense lines up on the far side of the box. Marcavecchio can't play it. De Guzman knocks it out, and Marcavecchio with the throw-in. In for Berlinski. Quarishi. Here's Berlinski's got a free run. Quarishi fires and scores. Corey Berlinski going in uncontested on goalkeeper Jamie Foreman and fired it with a left foot into the short side of the net. And Scotch Plains is on the board.
I think that really caught East Brunswick off guard. Scotch Plains is playing a very fast-paced game all along. That ball came off a throw-in. East Brunswick was still getting situated, hadn't been lined up. The defense in the back seemed to be shifted toward the center. The outside back on the near side wasn't in position, and that was the difference. In a game that's this tight, one tiny mistake is the difference between one goal and possibly a win or a loss.
Dickinson tried to catch up on Berlinski, but as we have seen throughout this evening, Berlinski with blazing speed raced in and with a solid shot past Foreman. Not Foreman's fault, but Berlinski with a big goal at 25-13 remaining in this ball game.
These next couple of minutes are real key minutes. Right after goal, both teams are usually real fired up. There's a lot of intensity. Scotch Plains real excited. East Brunswick really wanting to get back into it quick before too much time dwindles away. We're down to just under 25 minutes left in the game.
Plenty of time certainly for the Bears, but as you mentioned, East Brunswick will have to keep that intensity level up and be ready to make a rush at any moment.
This is the time when leaders in the backfield, leaders on the field really need to stand forward and hold the team together, not let them fall apart just because of one goal. And we should be able to see that if East Brunswick could hold tough.
Scotch Plains will set up for the kick.
This ball a little over about 23, 24 yards out, just at the top of the penalty arc. There right now, a bunch of Scotch Plains players are conferencing about a play. It certainly won't be a direct shot on. They have some sort of play set up. East Brunswick has 2, 4, 6 men in the wall.
Joy fires it through the wall, and it trickles through, goes out of bounds. And that's really not a bad play. Kept the shot along the ground, so if it does go out, as it did, it will mean a corner kick. East Brunswick has to be aware right now, as
also with the slick field, keeping the ball on the ground could get a good bounce.
Berlinski fires it deep in the box, and it's headed out nicely. Picked up by Quarishi, fires it right toward the net. Foreman with a tip, and it's knocked out by Horev. And actually, they're going to say Horev touched it after it went out, so they'll give him another corner kick. And Berlinski will try it one more time. Corey Berlinski with the only goal of the game will line up the corner kick. Berlinski deep in the box. The defense lets it go and it rolls out, and now East Brunswick will get a goal kick as the Bears dodge a bullet. 2 corner kicks in short order as Albrecht fires it out. Eunice can't track it down, and it's popped back the other way. Dickinson looks to make the play, but Scotch Plains comes up with it. Horov ahead. De Guzman's there. Condurso. Nice tackle, although unintentional, but he made the play nevertheless. As Barrett challenges and gets called for the push, so Scotch Plains will try to keep the heat on. Berlinski for Joy. Maneuvering. Inside. Header by East Brunswick. It was Smutgo. And the clear is made by Zafarowski. Condurso knocks it ahead. Picked off by Quarishi. And a collision. East Brunswick comes up with it. Now in trouble. Here comes Horov. Centers for Ruano, but they call offsides. Ooh, another dangerous moment for East Brunswick, as Eric Ruano just a little bit over anxious. And some words exchanged between a couple of players. On each side is Berlinski and Dickinson exchanged words. 21.5 remaining. Scotch Plains ahead of East Brunswick, 1-0. Long kick comes down and keeps rolling forward, but it's no problem as the ball is knocked back to Reyes by Eric Finley, and Reyes throws it off to Joy on the far side. Joy will try to get things going. Ho applying some pressure, knocks it back to Finley. Finley up the center of the field. Quarishi eludes and gets it off to Horov. Horov with a nice pass across the field. East Brunswick's defense trying to track it down, and Slater was the last one to touch that. And the throw-in will come to Marcavecchio. It's Quarishi to the center. Berlinski one more time. Couldn't get it set up, and here is Alchis. Alchis goes across the right side. And Scotch Plains will try to reset. Berlinski, Alchis. East Brunswick comes up with it as Slater is there, but taken back by Joy. Now Eunice tries to get it ahead for Ho. Joy giving chase. Ho on the far sideline. Ho in control, and he goes out of bounds. Well, Ho tried to put on the Jets, but that lip of the field lost the ball for him. And Scotch Plains will get the throw-in as we come to the midway mark of this second half. East Brunswick trailing number 1. Scotch Plains 1-0, number 1 in the state.
It's one of the first offensive drives that East Brunswick has had since the goal that Scotch Plains scored. The ball's been pretty much on East Brunswick's defensive half. East Brunswick's been playing a tough defense, but they haven't been able to turn it over, convert in the midfield, and feed up to their front runners for offensive opportunities. They still have plenty of time left, but as the clock starts to wind down, they got to think about making opportunities, getting the ball. They haven't had a shot on goal now in quite some time.
Bears will try to take this opportunity to put some pressure on. A long kick coming down for Condurso, who can't play it. Condurso challenging, making sure the ball can't go back to the goalie. Knocks it ahead and out of bounds to Scotch Plains. So East Brunswick will get the throw-in, but a couple of substitutions now as Brandon Hockman and Jared Forma check in for East Brunswick, and David Eunice and Greg Slater take a seat. Zafarowski with a throw-in. To the edge of the box, in the air, Condurso. Now it's Forma. Forma working against the end line and knocks it out of bounds himself, so a goal kick coming for Scotch Plains. Bracky Reyes just pops it out and takes it right back, and Condurso goes to challenge, and Reyes will boot it out himself. Goes out.
Scotch Plains is continuing to contain real well in their third. Again, East Brunswick was down in the corner and wouldn't let him turn for a shot on goal. East Brunswick has really been deprived of shots on goal lately, and Scotch Plains has held the ball to the outsides of the field. East Brunswick hasn't been in the middle yet.
chipped back the other way by Zafarowski, but East Brunswick can't catch up. This is Albrecht moving forward. Went for Hockman, couldn't get it there. Here's Berlinski for Scotch Plains. Dickinson comes up on him. Dickinson can't make the tackle, but they blow the whistle. Alchis in the center. Alchis with the ball. Alchis putting it ahead and forward and knocks it out of bounds as Russell Frame couldn't catch up to it. Race for the ball, and it's knocked back by Marcavecchio to Bracky Reyes. Seems as if Scotch Plains is starting to beat East Brunswick to the 50-50 balls now.
They are, and they're also containing well. They're slowing the clock down. Here's a perfect example. Time's running off. No one's challenging. Reyes will just sit there. He'll wait till someone comes in. Now an East Brunswick player comes in, and that's it. Now there's one player closer to the goal and only 10 players out in the field.
So Hockman did the challenging, and the whistle blows against East Brunswick on that head ball.
Here's a penalty. Scotch Plains in no hurry. Time continues to run in soccer. It's running time unless there's a penalty, unless there's a yellow card, a red card, a goal, some sort of official timeout. But pretty much right now they're just waiting. Try to get away with as much time as they can because dead ball time is less opportunity for East Brunswick to score.
Joy chips it in, and Foreman is there to make the save, and he'll get rid of it quickly. 16:40 remaining in the ball game. Hockman tries to get down there, but the defense is there instead. And Winokur gets it ahead. Coming into the box, Frame racing in. Frame working hard, Frame pops it in. Dickinson tries to clear, and the ball is knocked out by Zafarowski. Hockman now giving chase, trying to keep it in, and he can't do so. As Stevenson with the throw. Again, another impressive throw. Bowser inside, knocked off the ball, and Smutko can't save it in.
That'll give Scotch Plains another corner kick, and Scotch Plains has really come with a wide range of opportunities in corner kicks. You haven't seen too many of their plays twice. They really have depth in a variety of plays.
Here's another one. Berlinski out to Joy. He settles the ball and fire score!
And there it is. It works for Scotch Plains. They toss things up. They don't work the same plays too many times. They don't work coming down the field. They use both sides of the field. They use the middle. There's a corner kick I haven't seen yet tonight, and East Brunswick I don't think was ready for it. East Brunswick was looking for the long ball across, which they've seen more often.
Berlinski took the corner kick and chipped it in to about 18 yards on the angle. Keith Joy came racing up, settled the ball, one dribble, and fired it high into the upper right corner. And Jamie Foreman really never had a chance.
Nope, he couldn't react fast enough. And now that puts Scotch Plains up 2-0, and there's just over 15 and a half minutes left in the game. 2-goal margin is a big margin for both teams. If East Brunswick puts one in now, it's only a 1-goal difference. If Scotch Plains were to put one in, that's 3-0, and that's really that could be the game.
Dan Hastings says with 10 to 15 minutes remaining in this game, he doesn't want to be down by more than one. He's hoping, he said, to keep it close until late. And Scotch Plains turning up the heat as Foreman comes over to make the play. Bears, therefore, will at least want to put one in the next 5 minutes or so. However, old momentum in favor of the Raiders right now. Perfilio down there, taken away. De Guzman for East Brunswick, pops it through Perfilio's legs, hoping that it would touch him, but apparently it did not. And they are going to wait for Garth Stevenson to make this throw again. This throw is as good as a corner kick, and you can see how far away from the end line he starts just to pick up some momentum. Again, the offense playing deep. The long throw into the box, cleared by the defense, as Hockman tries to settle and go, but he can't do it, and Marcavecchio clears beyond Joy, and East Brunswick will get the throw in with 14 and a half remaining.
East Brunswick really has to keep their composure. They can't lose their cool now with just under 15 minutes left. They can't panic. They still have plenty of time. If they can keep the ball at least in the middle third or forward, they could set up plays and really look for the back of the net as opposed to just free balls in the middle of the field like you see now.
Frame for Bowser, but Dickinson's there. Doesn't matter, though, as Winokur is there to pop it ahead for Perfilio. Berlinski giving chase, number 16. And East Brunswick Slater comes back to make the play defensively, but Stevenson will get the throw, and again, keep an eye on this throw. Very, very impressive. This kind of comes in short, and Stevenson's there, but the whistle blows.
There's another example of Scotch Plains tossing up their plays. Instead, everyone was expecting it to come right across the middle. They said, all right, we'll keep it on the outside, and East Brunswick was caught off guard.
So, kick coming now.
Scotch Plains slowly setting up their play. They're in no hurry. They're up 2-0. Keep the ball dead. Time runs off.
Right in front, the header. Right in front again. Foreman goes for it, hits up top, and it goes knocked in, but this one should not count.
That won't.
As it nicked off the football crossbar, not the soccer crossbar. Soccer crossbar, the ball is in play. The football crossbar, the ball is out of play. Foreman again trying to take charge back there, and did nicely. Found himself, however, out of position a little bit, and another substitution is Joe Merkel, a sophomore, checks in for the first time this evening. And Eric Albrecht will check out. Albrecht comes off limping slightly as de Guzman takes the goal kick. Eunice had slipped and then tried to recover to make the head play. Shipped ahead as Frame chases. De Guzman knocks it down. Forma for East Brunswick, tackled out by Ruano. East Brunswick with the throw. Less than 12.5 remaining. In for Ho, but Joy is back there. And they'll say a dangerous play, or a handball perhaps. Joy signaling that it went off his shoulder, not his hand, but East Brunswick in a good position. Dickinson will take the kick. East Brunswick needs a goal. Down 2-0. Dickinson ahead for Forma. Eunice kicks it behind him, but can't make the play. Eunice again going behind him into the box. Here comes Forma racing in. East Brunswick with an opportunity. Shoot! Score! East Brunswick cutting the margin to 2-1 with a big goal, and the Bears are right back in it with 11:47 remaining.
It's a new game. It's a new ball game. That's what I just said a few minutes ago. A 2-0 difference is a very volatile score in soccer. Now it's 2-1, so one goal difference. East Brunswick could be in it real quick. You see East Brunswick, their momentum is going to really be pumped now. A lot of intensity. Scotch Plains will also be pumped. They'll be trying to keep the ball up in East Brunswick's half. You heard the crowd finally come alive. The crowd's been pretty quiet since the halftime, as East Brunswick hasn't really put many shots on goal.
Bears need to use this momentum to their advantage and put some pressure on, and you see the strikers coming forward, try to put some heat on. Good maneuvering by Vitale. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. Throw-in will come to Perfilio. Goes over the top, and East Brunswick will try to get back and recover. Kicked out. Ruano trying to make the play, number 7, with a left foot deflected. Here comes Alches winding up, but it's blocked by de Guzman. Ball comes back to Marcavecchio. Condurso playing him. Condurso takes it away. Foreman knocks it ahead. Hockman comes down but can't get there. Foreman knocks it forward. Condurso's there for East Brunswick. Marcavecchio pops it the other way. Ball gets deep. Horev with it. Working one-on-one. Horev gets the edge, fires the shot, but wide.
It really appears as if the intensity has changed. East Brunswick's running to the ball faster. They won a couple 50-50 balls in the midfield. They're really running through the ball as opposed to the ball. And, this could be the difference. Now, East Brunswick's got the goal kick.
So East Brunswick now with a goal kick, 10.5 remaining. Ball is played by Joy. Morano knocks it forward. Frame racing in. Dickinson with a foot race and knocks it out to negate the advantage. Frame with the thrown. Comes to Ruano. One dribble, looks to hit it, knocks it into the box. A foot race, and Foreman is there ahead of Bowser, who twice in the first half ran into him. Foreman winning the foot race. Ball knocked forward. Forma going for it. Forma gets knocked down. Perfilio takes it. East Brunswick's goal at 11:47 by Brandon Hockman. Knocked in, oh my goodness. The defense knocked it in that time as Foreman came out of the net. And de Guzman trying to clear, looked like it went off his foot. And a very, very difficult goal for East Brunswick. While de Guzman may have chipped that one, really not his fault. He was doing his best to save it, and on the slippery turf couldn't do too much. And all of a sudden the Raiders are out to a 3-1 lead with 9:48 remaining. Well, East Brunswick is going to have to put all kinds of pressure on Scotch Plains now to make something happen. Eunice ahead, but Joy is there to knock it back the other way. Perfilio with a head. Bowser giving chase. Condurso coming back, and Perfilio will take the throw, and actually they blow the whistle and they'll say a push, so there will be a kick, and Joy will set up to take the kick. And again, as you mentioned, Scott, Keith Joy taking his time, as is the entire Scotch Plains team. With a left foot into the box, Foreman comes out, makes the save. Has words for Bowser and boots it ahead. Condurso racing down, and a whistle blows.
Referee stopping his clock, and he's pulling his cards out.
He's going to give a yellow card, and the yellow card is going to go against Joe Condurso, and that could do it for him if he doesn't watch himself.
Dan Hastings grabbing him real quick. East Brunswick can't afford to lose a player. As it is, it's a yellow card right now. If they can't control him.
And that's it. It's a red card.
There it is. It's a red card. Now East Brunswick will have to play short. Only 10 players will be able to play for East Brunswick. And when you're down 3-1 with 9 minutes left in the game, you need every player you can get.
Well, once that yellow card was pulled out, Condurso, with the ball a couple of yards away, just fired it out of bounds, and you know that is generally trouble. And he kept up his tirade and gets the boot from the ball game with 9:01 remaining. So that certainly does not help the Bears' chances, as Joe Condurso, who we spoke about earlier, kind of a fiery type, and we certainly evidenced that just moments ago, as Condurso gets the red card. Now East Brunswick really with an uphill battle, as Dan Hastings has some words, gets an explanation from the official as Scotch Plains gets set to kick the ball very conveniently. Zahid Qureshi moves the ball up about 5 yards, moves it up another couple of yards as he resets the ball. I tell you, by the time they kick this ball, he's going to be at midfield.
Scotch Plains really at a big advantage right now because they don't have to score. All they have to do is kill the clock. They have an extra man. All they got to do is work some ground passes back and forth, keep the ball out of bounds as much as possible, and the game will be over. East Brunswick, on the other hand, has a real uphill battle with under 9 minutes left, down by 2 goals.
Bowser.
And playing short.
Absolutely. Bowser with the throw-in. Right to the center of the box, headed out by East Brunswick, and the whistle blows. And East Brunswick is going to look to fire things up quickly. Less than 8.5 remaining. Bears trailing by 2 and down a man. East Brunswick has played very, very well, and really has to feel proud of this effort. 8:10 and the clock still ticking as the officials blow the whistle again, and the clock continues to tick. At least the scoreboard clock does, although the official clock is kept on the field, so we will keep that in mind. When that whistle blew, it appeared the officials were going to stop the clock. And now they fire it back up again. Joy knocks it ahead for Berlinski, can't handle it. East Brunswick trying to gain control, and Ho does, but Qureshi coming back the other way nicely for the Raiders. He gets knocked down, and a whistle there, as all fingers are pointing to E.J. Zafarowski, all of the Scotch Plains fingers anyway.
Tempers are getting short, emotions are starting to fly high. Time's dwindling down, and Bears are really playing as tough as they possibly can. The referees are trying to keep the game under control as best they can.
And seemingly doing a pretty good job so far. Finley boots it forward. Qureshi's there for the head with Forma, and de Guzman knocks it back the other way. East Brunswick's going to have to put the heat on now one way or another, even though Reyes will play it, as Ho goes flying by, but considerably late. Look good to the fans here anyway. And Reyes very much taking his time now. 6:45 remaining. Knocks it out to Joy, who pops it right back to him. East Brunswick trying to put some pressure on. And Reyes with a nice kick. Eunice with a head. And East Brunswick can't catch up as Dom Condurso was there. Thrown comes to Riano, who drops it off. And East Brunswick kicks it back. Albrecht. Ho again pressuring, goes out of bounds. And Joy will get the throw in for Scotch Plains. Into Ruano. Nice move in midfield by Vitale, and he kicks it deep and out of bounds. But again, the clock continues to kick as we come up to the 6-minute mark, 6 remaining. Dickinson knocks it ahead. This game very much in midfield now as East Brunswick unable to get the pressure that it needs. East Brunswick will set up on the kick now.
East Brunswick really doesn't have time to waste. They have to get the ball in the air as soon as they possibly can.
Albrecht does just that. The defense is there to knock it away. Albrecht coming up, tries to settle the ball, knocks it ahead. Ho slips behind the defense. Ho in a foot race with Finley. Ho comes in, he shoots, and he's just wide. Good opportunity for Brian Ho, but he fired it wide. Give credit, though, to Bracky Reyes coming out of his net to cut down the angle.
Very big opportunity. That ball coming all the way from about the top of the circle off Eric Albrecht. And that's what East Brunswick has to keep doing, is just keep lofting the ball into the box and letting their players take shots on goal, because time is running out. And if they can't take shots on goal, they're obviously not going to put the ball in the net.
East Brunswick trying to make something happen here as Foreman knocks it forward, and it will roll out slowly, and it will be a goal kick. So with 4:40 remaining, the Raiders will take their time. Comes out to Marcavecchio, back to Reyes. He will keep things moving slowly till Zafarowski comes out to play him. And Reyes will just try to clear the ball from his own end. Dangerous play there, and that should go for East Brunswick, and it does as Quarishi ran into Forma. And de Guzman will come forward and boot the ball. Knocks it into the box. Zafarowski can't do it. Forma trying to settle it, fires it, and Reyes takes the big bounce. Would have been wide, but that took a bigger bounce than I think Reyes anticipated. Reyes taking his time, and again will just boot it forward just to clear the zone and kill the clock. East Brunswick in control. Albrecht now. Albrecht racing. East Brunswick a man short. Zafarowski. Zafarowski controlling with a body. Zafarowski, but moving the wrong way. Forma pops it the other way. Headed nicely by the defense, and East Brunswick giving chase. Joy is over there, along with Condurso. And it's knocked out by Perfilio. Dickinson will send it back to Foreman. Less than 3.5 remaining. Foreman knocking it the other way. Hoping Foreman can get there. He can't. Zafarowski mistimes the head. And Marcavecchio knocks it back to Reyes. Blocks it with his chest, and then again will take his time as Eunice tries to put the pressure on. Scotch Plains trying to remain unbeaten this year. Currently 9-0-1, and things looking pretty good with less than 3 minutes to go. Dickinson fires it the other way. And they blow the whistle. De Guzman sets it up for East Brunswick and comes forward with the left foot. Nice long kick. The defense is there as Finley plays it out, and literally plays it out of bounds. So Forma will take the throw-in with 2.5 remaining. Comes into Dickinson, who's now pressing forward. Eunice tries to chip it back for Dickinson on the give and go into the box, but cleared nicely by Alchis. Mistimed on the head. East Brunswick trying to put that pressure back on. Ruano clears it. Nice tackle made by East Brunswick, but the Bears can't come up with it. And here comes Perfilio racing. Back to Foreman. And Foreman boots it out. Forma now going for it. And the whistle blows, dangerous play. And it will go to Scotch Plains. Actually, they'll say East Brunswick, so Albrecht boots it. Looking for Ho, goes for the header, but Reyes is there, and really one of the tougher tests that Reyes has had late in this second half.
Very true. East Brunswick hasn't had the opportunities, but you can definitely see the maturity of the East Brunswick club. They're not forcing impossible things. They're trying to set up their plays. They're not panicking. They're running out of time, but they're not really wasting time because they're trying to work the ball as opposed to force the ball.
Scotch Plains taking its time, and a couple of players slipped down, and the whistle blows. A little pushing and shoving after the fact. The referee steps in, and looks like he's going to pull out the yellow card on both sides. A little pushing and shoving on each side of the field as the two players slipped and went down, and then a little extracurricular activity. And the referee doing a good job to take charge as tempers are short here late in the game with Scotch Plains leading East Brunswick 3-1.
Yeah, as time runs out, it's really gotten to be a rougher game physically, and the referees are on top of that there, keeping control of the game and not letting it control them.
So the officials fire things up, and Keith Joy takes his time. Strong kick. De Guzman heads it, and heads it one more time. Bowser now heads it for Scotch Plains. Another opportunity cleared nicely by Merkel, and Perfilio going for the ball took another run at Condurso. Scoreboard clock shows a minute remaining, perhaps a minute and change based on the official time clock, and East Brunswick can't keep that ball in play. And the clock is winding down on the Bears. A very impressive performance by East Brunswick going up against the #1 team in the state. Certainly nothing for the Bears to be ashamed of. As the clock winds down, Alchis just plays it ahead. Dickinson gives chase for East Brunswick. Bowser for Scotch Plains, and Dickinson chips it forward. Alchis now makes the nice sliding play on the ball. And again, Foreman will make the play. Boots the ball out across the midfield, and Zafarowski can make the play, and the throw-in will come from Scotch Plains as the clock is winding down. Zafarowski for East Brunswick. And that is going to be all. That is going to be all. East Brunswick falling to Scotch Plains 3-1. A very impressive performance for East Brunswick. All of the scoring coming in half number 2. And Scott, the Bears, despite the loss, have to feel pretty good about themselves considering the caliber of the competition against Scotch Plains, #1 in the state.
East Brunswick did play very well. You saw a lot of leadership in the backfield. Their defensive third was tough. The whole first half, the middle of the field was equal playing on both sides. What East Brunswick needs to do now is recollect after this game and look ahead. Their next game is Saturday against St. Joe's. St. Joe's being, I believe, East Brunswick's only loss so far this year.
That is correct. So East Brunswick really not much time to turn around and go up against a very tough rival, and a rival in that is a conference game and a division game, and of course the only loss of the season, that tie coming to Westfield. So East Brunswick falls to 8-2-1 of the season, while Scotch Plains improves to 10-0-1, and Scotch Plains obviously a very talented team.
Very true. Another factor that East Brunswick has to note is that Rob Conterso, I believe, who was thrown out because of the red card, will not be able to play against St. Joe's Saturday. So they will be playing without his abilities. And I don't know, we haven't gotten a report on Mike Toth, but he did go out hurt, and I didn't see him get back in. So these are all things that East Brunswick, they have to regroup after tonight's loss and get ready to play St. Joe's.
And that'll come up very quickly. So again, the scoring quickly to run down for you. Corey Berlinski with 25-13 remaining, and then Keith Joy with 15-41 remaining, both for Scotch Plains. Brandon Hockman scored for East Brunswick, 11:47 remaining. And then one of the East Brunswick players accidentally knocked the ball in his own net. It would have rolled it anyway, and that was the final goal. So Scotch Plains wrapping it up 3-1. Well, thanks this evening and for watching East Brunswick High School Soccer on Channel 8. And for David Ambrosi, Scott White, Peter Balsamo, and Brian Merrigan, I'm Pete Haskel saying thanks for joining us.